Good afternoon and welcome to this session with Tammi VanBuren. She is a Gale trainer and she will be introducing our newest collection that we have purchased through Gale. And I will turn it over to you, Tammi.
Great. Thank you, Linda. And hello, everyone. I hope you had a nice break and enjoyed a nice lunch, and we're ready to get started here. We have 30 minutes together, so let's make the most of it. And I'm going to share, very excited to share with you your new Gale ebook collection. You have 2 series, so let's get started. I just wanted to wave hello, and now I'm going to stop my video and focus on the session. So your Gale for Students ebook series, you have poetry and short stories. These 2 collections have been purchased by Discus for all of your libraries. You will have access to them through the Discus portal shortly. They have been loaded on individual accounts, so you may already see these in your showing up in your Gale resources that you have from Discus if you're using your individual links, which is fantastic. So, and I will share with you where on the product menu that you can find them, if that's how you're accessing or just for your quick reference. But always you can access all of your Gale resources from the Discus portal. We are going to start with an overview of Gale eBooks. So if you're not familiar with the Gale eBooks platform or that resource, we are going to go through the tools and features today. And then we're really going to explore that content and then those additional features, because with ebooks, it's a little different. You have a few options for viewing, and I want to go through all of the search paths that you have available when you are utilizing the ebooks platform. Questions I encourage you to ask throughout. I do have the chat box open, so I will be monitoring it throughout the session. Training materials and contact information at the very end. I will provide you with the contact information if you need help from Discus, and also contact information for folks at Gale. Always your first line to contact is your helpline at Discus, so go that route first, but also want to provide you with my email address in case you have any additional questions about this session.
Pardon me just a moment, Tammi.
Yes.
Just want to let you know that you have up until you have 45 minutes. So if you don't feel like you have to rush.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so Discus resources, you can access all of your Discus resources through the website. And here it is on the screen. If you haven't accessed it, I suggest you definitely go. There's lots of great materials. In addition to accessing your resources, you're going to find a lot of training content and guides that are there available for you to utilize. For today, we are focusing on the Gale eBooks platform, and the collections that have been purchased for you all from Discus are geared more towards our middle school and high school students. Really, it does tend to skew a little higher towards high school, but if you were here for the opening, Linda did mention, and she is spot on, that there are fantastic work overviews that can be really helpful for our middle schoolers. That critical or that literary analysis might be a little bit of a higher level, but you know what? It's really good to expose students at every age to that type of information, because they will be experiencing it in college. And if they choose to go on to a two-year or 4-year, they'll be experiencing it there. And then, of course, in high school, they'll be experiencing that literary analysis. So let's talk about Gale eBooks in general first. You can see in the bottom left here, I have the 2 series. So you're seeing 2 covers, but you have multiple volumes for each of these series. And I'll share with you how many you actually have access to. With Gale eBooks, the access is 24/7. So your students will have access, or maybe it's teachers or faculty members will have access to this content 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's unlimited simultaneous access, so they can all be on the same title or the same chapter within a book. Maybe you've accessed a certain document all at the same time. There is no limit to that. There are no holds or returns because there's no check-in or check-out. So again, unlimited access to these resources. Our platform is mobile responsive. So you have the ability to access from your cell phone. You can be on an e-reader, iPad, on your computer, and the screen will automatically adjust for you. Unlimited downloads also. So not only is it unlimited access, but you also have unlimited downloads. So if you did want to download a certain chapter, and I'm going to show you what that looks like today, you can do that. So you can download and anything you want within, even if you wanted to go cover to cover with a book, which would be a lot with these series because they are pretty large titles with a lot of content, but you could, if you really wanted to, you could download the entire book if you wanted to from cover to cover. Intuitive search and browse features. Gale eBooks does have, I love the search option. So you may have, this is the 2 series I'm going to cover today are what you have from Discus. You may in your own library have additional Gale eBooks. And so that search and browse feature is going to be extremely important with that because you have all of these text or ebooks available within your collection. Now I'm going to show you a couple ways to search through these collections and really spend time on those search options today. One of those search options is Topic Finder. If you use Topic Finder in any of your other Gale resources, it works the same way. And I will model that for you today. It does live under the advanced search option. And I'll show you where that is at. Translate, so you can, not only can you check, or there's no check-in or check-out, unlimited access, unlimited downloads. You can also translate the text into over 40 languages. So really these ebooks put learning at your students' fingertips, and however they're learning, it reaches them. Text to speech and download as an MP3. So you have the ability, just as you do in your other Gale resources, to turn the text into speech and listen to that text being read aloud. You can also download the entire text as an MP3 and listen to it on your device. This is really great if students don't necessarily have internet access at home and they want to download an article or a document right onto their phone and listen to it later. That is an option for them. And then we are integrated with Google, Microsoft, and learning management systems. So we have that integration capability available. Google and Microsoft are right within the resource itself. And the learning management systems, if you're using maybe Canvas or Schoology or any of the other learning management systems, there is some setup on the backside to get everything integrated into your learning management system. And there are folks at Gale that can help you with that process because there's some information that needs to be added on the backside of whichever system you're using. Gale ebook collections from Discus. So what you have available is Poetry for Students. And what Poetry for Students is, it's a series. You have volumes 1 to 62, all those volumes, and it features discussions and analysis of poems from all time periods, nations, and cultures. And you also have access to short stories for students. And this provides critical overviews of short stories from all cultures and time periods. And you have volumes 1 to 51 for that series. So quite a few books. And imagine, you have them in the ebook format where you have that unlimited access. You may have the 4 student series on your shelf in your libraries where you have 1 copy. Now you have unlimited access to all of these volumes, and they live in this digital format for you all with all the great tools. Saving and sharing content. You can save and share content. And this says K5 users, but all users using GitLink, where you have a persistent URL that you can share content on a syllabus, a learning management system, a social media post. If you're using LibGuides, you can use the GitLink for a LibGuide, and you can link out directly to content within a certain series, or maybe you want to link an entire title or one of the volumes, I should say, or you've filtered down your content. You've done a search, you filtered down your content, and you want to share your curated collection or curated information that you have. You can do that using GitLink. Can also send information, documents directly to Google Drive, Microsoft OneDrive, directly from your Gale resources. If you are accessing any other Gale resources that have multimedia, for example, your biography or opposing viewpoints or elementary, you can also send files, images, and more to both Google Drive and Microsoft OneDrive. And if you are using Google Classroom, I had mentioned learning management systems, but if you're using Google Classroom, you have the capability to pull information or pull content directly into your Google Classroom. All right, so with that, we are going to go into the resource itself. So here we are in your Gale eBooks platform, and you can see the two collections are here right in the center of the page. They do land under the category of literature, which makes sense, right? And you can see what makes them unique is they have this little series button on there. Well, it's not a button, it's just a on the covers, so you know that this is actually, there are more volumes, it's not just one title. To list all of the covers, it would just be this same cover with a different volume for each one, and it would be very kind of messy, I would say. I have them linked out a certain way on my Gale page, and it is like that. When you show all the covers, it's the blue cover again and again and again, especially when you have as many volumes as you have from Discus. So we compile them in this nice cover, and once you click into that cover, then you can see all of the volumes. So let me take you through some of these search paths that you have available. Let's start with accessing one of the covers and viewing all of the volumes and how you can do some searching from there. And then we'll come back in here to this homepage and talk about basic search, advanced search, and what we have under there. And from there, we're going to drill down into the individual tools that you have available. So as you can see, I have all the volumes. They are hyperlinked out. So if I wanted to click into volume 62, I could. I also have the ability to just search within this series. So this is poetry for students that we're in. So maybe I'm looking for a certain author. I can search within the series, and it will bring back just content from this series. I'm just pointing that out to you because I want to go through both paths. If I access the entire volume, let's go that path first. It takes me directly to the table of contents. Now, you can see here's still the cover, but now I'm in one volume of that series where I can go into the view ebook. Now, view ebook is going to take me literally to a PDF version of that title. So the print, what you would see in a print copy, you would see in the view ebook. There's two ways to view your text. It's view ebook or view text. So, and I'm going to share with you both of those, but that's what this button is. So I want to point that out because there's different tools depending on if you're in view ebook, which again is a copy or a PDF version of the book itself, and then view text, you are viewing text on the page. It's not think of it as the actual print is something that's been typed up and put into this platform. So it's a little different, and the tools are slightly different. I'll share it with you, so I don't want to confuse you on that, but I do want to share how you are able to, from this table of contents page, jump to any spot within this resource. And then too, you can see what is within this volume, which can be really helpful too. There's a book index. So you can see that index. Maybe this is a better route for you to take when you can, the pages are hyperlinked out, so you can jump to that section. And then you also have a list of illustrations if we happen to have any illustrations in, and we do have quite a few in this title. Okay, so I said we would also search within this publication. So let's do that. And I'm not sure who we have in here. I should have looked first. Let's see if we have anything related to Maya Angelou. We might not. Oh, we do. Look at that. So when I search within this series or this particular volume, it will just look at content within that volume. So that's a quick way to, if you know, oh, I know that what I'm looking for is in volume 62. I just want to find it real quick. You click into the volume, you search within, and it takes you to that content. So that's one way to look for content, is going through each individual volume. I like to have more of a broader approach. So we don't have to go back to that homepage, but let's go back to that homepage. And now we're going to do a basic search. Before we do, I just want to point out over here to the right, you have a contextual toolbar. And all of these tools, they're going to change depending on where we're at within the resource. That's why we call it a contextual toolbar, because it knows and it changes depending on where you're at. It provides you the tools you need. So right now on the home page, it provides us with the title list. So you can look at all those volumes again, search history, which this is session based, get link, and highlights and notes. Get link and highlights and notes will be here in this toolbar no matter where you're at within the resource itself. So let's do a basic search so you can see, and let's stick with my Angelou for now. When I do a basic search, this is what I love about our Gale eBooks platform. Imagine having all of these volumes in the print copy in front of you. You have one copy of each and trying to decipher which title or which volume you need to go into. With this type of search, it pulls back the results so quickly. And with our basic search, it looks at the first 100 to 200 words. It looks at the title. It looks at some other metadata on the backside, but it really is going to give you those top hits right from the get-go. So you do that search and you've got all of these results. So I have 59 results. For each one, I have the title, I have some publication information, I have the date, how many pages this happens to be, what type of document this is. So this one is a poem explanation. The one below is a biography, critical essay, and work overview. And you can see a little bit of a summary here. Now you do also have some filters on the right-hand side that I can share with you. And we are going to go into these filters. So let me just jump in and take a little bit of a look at them, because 59 titles is still a lot to scroll through. We are going to go into one and dive a little deeper here, but I do want to share with you how you have the ability to pick a subject, and I will model these with another search, document type, publication title, which we just have the two, poetry for students and short stories for students. Publication language, if this publication was available in any other languages, not translate. We do have translate. Remember, at the document level, you can translate the text. But if the publication was offered in another language and Discus purchased it that way, then you would see that here. Content level. And these are related to Lexile measures. You're going to find mainly the content levels in the 4s and 5s for this type of content, which is, just to let you know, level 1 and 2 is elementary. We say generally elementary because all of our students are at different levels. Level 3 is generally middle school. Level 4 and 5 is generally high school and undergrad. But again, remember, there's information in here that middle schoolers can definitely benefit from. Plus, don't forget, we have that listen, that text to speech option. So students can listen. If maybe it's a little higher reading level, they can still listen to the content being read aloud to them, the document being read aloud, and benefit from that. And then you, again, have that ability to search within. So this would search within just these 59 results that I have. So we give you that option to drill down very quickly. You also have the option to pull all of these search results into Topic Finder. And Topic Finder is a visual representation of your search results. I'm going to show you Topic Finder through the advanced search option, but I do want to point out that it does live here under your filter bar. Okay, so let's take a look at the document, because when you get to the document level, and this one we happen to have 13 pages available. You can see the publication information at the top. I know that I have 13 pages and it's at a content level 4. I have my contextual toolbar, which has now changed because I'm in a different spot. I'm at the document level. I also have some great accessibility tools and some quick send options here. The Explore panel is also available, and this is really great because the Explore panel, the more like this section, is probably one of my favorites, because a lot of times students will find one thing that they're interested in, like here's this article, Still I Rise, I want to read about this, and then but I need some more information. I want more like this, or here this is really helpful, an overview of a simile, American poetry. So going into, and it may be directly related to either the author, it could be, in this case it's related to something slightly different, it could be related to the work itself. So it really depends on what article you're on, and then the more like this will give that opportunity to explore further and supplement where your students land, or teachers for that matter, and provide them with additional information. Related subjects are here below, so your students can quickly jump to, if they want to find everything in Maya Angelou, they can do that and jump to that section too. Okay, so when we are at this is what we call text view. You're automatically taken into text view. When you're in text view, you have these accessibility features where you can translate the text to 40 languages. Actually, we're at 41 right now, so 41 languages. You can increase the text size because it's not a PDF copy of the book. We are actually in the text itself here. You can also listen to the text being read aloud, and you can download this as an MP3. Now, under this little settings, there are some features that you can turn on or turn off. I did, in the morning session, turn on the enhanced text visibility, and my computer cookies that information. And so that's why you're seeing this box pop up at the bottom of the screen. What it does is this: when you turn on the enhanced text visibility, it pulls out the text and puts it into this text box. Now, one area that was shared, or I should say some information that was shared with me a couple of years ago, was that the blues and the greens are really helpful. They're very similar to overlays that are used in school for students that have dyslexia. And when you pull out the text this way, it helps all sorts of students. So you have students with varying needs, and this enhanced text visibility can help support them as they're listening to this text being read aloud. So it's a great tool to have. And again, it lives under this gear. And below is where you can turn on or off the enhanced text visibility. I turned it off, so it disappears. And then downloading as an MP3, again, is right here under that listen button. And I can't remember if I mentioned, but if I translate the text, it also translates the listen. So if I change this to Spanish, the text on the page, it'll read it to me in Spanish too. And then you do have all your quick send options. If I want to send this entire document to Google, Microsoft, email, download, or print. They also live up here at the top: send to, Google, OneDrive, and email. You have download, and you also have print. Get link provides a persistent URL back to this exact document, and you can share and post this wherever you like. And then you have highlights and notes, which we're going to touch in a little bit. We also have the two which are unique to Gale eBooks. You have the table of contents and the book view. Table of contents is exactly that. That table of contents that we saw when we clicked into the volume, when we were in volume number 62, you have it here right under this navigation at the top. Click table of contents, and you can quickly jump to another spot within this title, within this volume. Book view takes you to the book view. So again, as I mentioned, it's a PDF version. It's working here. There we go. You have some options here. So right now it's just on my page. I can make it double page if I choose to. Let me get to there. And this is a double page. I can fit it to my screen. And I can also make it whole screen. Here you can also, from the previous screen or this one, you can zoom in, zoom out, you can click and drag the text. So if you preferred to read it this way, then you absolutely can. And again, this is your book view. So remember when we had the little icon when we clicked into the Poetry for Students, and it took us to the table of contents, and we had that view ebook little blue icon below the cover. It'll take you into this, excuse me, it'll take you to this spot. So the tools that you have, you don't have those, the listen feature is not there, the translate feature is not there. So if those features are tools that you want to use, then you definitely want to make sure to be in text view. So that's the biggest difference between the two. You still can download, you still can print. The citation is still available just as it was in the text view. It's the same citation. In the citation, it is defaulted to MLA 8th edition. You have APA, Chicago, and Harvard available. Also, if you choose to export this citation, you can export it to Noodle Tools, EasyBib. You have RefWorks, which I know is used more at higher ed, and then Google Drive, OneDrive, or download as an RIS. When I go back to text view, at the bottom, and all of these are going to be longer. Let me see if I can, I apologize. I hope I'm not making you nauseous by scrolling. I'll let you know when I'm at the bottom. Here we go. So when you're at the bottom, the source citation is already here too. So if you are choosing to send this to Google or Microsoft or download or print, the source citation is already attached. And it is defaulted to MLA 8th edition. So if you do want to change the format, then before you send it or print or download, you'll want to come to the bottom of your document and change the format of that citation. If it's really, you know, if that's important that it's in the correct format here on the document itself, which probably is, then you do now have the ability to change that source citation before you save that document. Before we made the enhancements, gosh, almost now 2 years ago, you were unable to do that. So now it is available. You also can choose from this part or this portion when you're in the resource to export it to Noodle Tools or EasyBib, just as you could under the Cite button here at the top. And look at that contextual toolbar, scrolls with you, it stays with you, it floats down the page. So you could be at the very bottom of the document and decide, oh yeah, I definitely want to send this one to my Microsoft OneDrive. Click into send to and send it to OneDrive. And what happens is it will be land in a folder. A folder will be created titled Gale eBooks. And anytime you're in your Gale eBooks platform and send content to your Google Drive or Microsoft OneDrive, it'll always land in that same folder. The very first time, if you're not familiar with our workflow tools, the very first time your students or teachers or faculty members access and decide they want to send information to Google or Microsoft, then they will be asked for permission, and they do have to grant permission, and then we will create that folder on in their Google Drive or Microsoft OneDrive, and then the information can be added or the content can be added. Now, what happens after the fact, because we are very concerned about personal information and protecting that and the privacy of students, is that as soon as I or anyone, any user closes their browser or logs out of their session on their Gale resources, that connection is severed. So we do not keep any of that information. They are not creating accounts on the resources themselves. Like I said, personal information is very important to us, so that stays exactly that private personal information. So they will have to sign in. The nice thing is though, like I'm on my own computer, so of course it remembers who I am. So when I click that send to Google, even if I'm not logged in, it will log me into my own account. So that does make it a little bit easier and quicker. But the very first time they will have to grant permission. And with eBooks, they are slightly different, where you do have the ability to scroll through the pages. You can see we have terms here at the bottom. And then more like this is also listed here at the bottom. view related articles is also. So those are in that Explore panel. Before, you would have to scroll all the way to the bottom, and then you would then access that information, where now it's up top in that Explore panel. All right, so that was a basic search. We went through all of the tools. Let's go into advanced search, and we're going to look at a couple different things that are a little different there in advanced search. And I don't have to go all the way back. I don't have to scroll all the way up. I can just simply click on advanced search because it's nice. It's right in my tool bar, my contextual toolbar at the top. So from wherever I'm at within the resource, I can just access my advanced search. So advanced search has received a bit of an update in the last year, and we have provided some search tips here, some explanation of the operators and special characters if you'd like to do some exploration on that. We even have webinars for this and short little 15-minute to mastery session on the advanced search. So you do have the ability to put in a term, and then you have different fields. And the nice thing is now you get a little bit of an explanation of that field. So keyword and what exactly does keyword search for? I use basic search is just like your basic search at the top. You have entire document. Entire document is exactly that. It'll look for whatever term you select throughout every document in your collection. So it searches through everything. So be prepared for that. And I do like subject too, because subject will look specifically for that subject and not just the mere mention of it. So really this can be as simple or as complex as you want. You also have some options here below if you're looking for certain publication years or certain publication titles. Now you have two. So this would be if you had a larger individual collection that you have, and then you have the ability to filter through different collections. We only have literature, but again, if you had more collections in your own library, you would see that target audience, content level, and publication language are all here in advanced search. All right, so let's do a quick subject search. And I'm going to select subject first. You don't have to, but I am going to. And I want to show you, because what's nice about Search Assist, if you use Search Assist in advanced search, what it does is it automatically puts your term in quotations for you. So when you add quotation marks to any term, it looks specifically for that term. So supernatural, if I had supernatural, I don't know, ghosts, let's say, and it was two separate words, when you put quotation marks around it, it will look for supernatural ghosts all together in that order. It doesn't mix. It doesn't look for just supernatural and ghosts within so many words of each other. It looks for that term exactly when you put it in quotation marks, exactly as you have it here. And that was probably a really poor example, but I couldn't think of anything else but ghosts. Okay, so when I click that search button, again, it takes me to, and I was looking for the subject of supernatural, so it takes me to 31 results. So it really drills down all of that content very quickly. And you can see here, it's pulling both poetry and short stories because I picked a little bit of a different topic. Now, if I were to select keyword, let me go back and I can revise my search right here. If I were to change that to keyword and click search, now I'm at 115 results. So slightly different. So you can see the difference of looking for just the keyword, which are those top hits, as compared to looking for the subject. Well, let's use some of the filters on the right-hand side, just so you can see how they work and how quickly they work. So I'm in keyword. I want to filter down, and let's go to subjects. And what do we have here? I believe, let's look at women writers. So we actually have 4 documents by women writers as related to my subject term of, or keyword search of, supernatural. And then from here, I click into the title and it takes me directly to that document. Okay, let me show you what else you have, another search option under advanced search. So I'm going to click every time, if you click revise search, it's going to take you back to your search term and the advanced search page with that term still included in it. If you click advanced search up here at the top next to the basic search bar, it clears everything. So there's a difference there between those two. Oh, and one other thing, you can remove these filters at any time by just closing that box, and it takes you back to your original search results. So when I select advanced search here, it's going to clear that supernatural for me. So it's not here. So be sure if you want to go back and change it from keyword to subject or to entire document and just kind of compare and see what it pulls back, be sure to select that revise search button. Now I want to show you subject guide search. This is another search option that you have available. And here, let's take a different approach and let's type in symbolism and click search. And the reason why I selected symbolism is because you can see it gives you symbolism, the subject term, and then the results there happen to be 69. There's also related subjects, and I select related subjects. You can see the narrower terms. So there's related terms and narrower terms that are available. So you can really get very specific. Here's literary techniques. So you can really get very specific from that subject guide search. This could be extremely helpful for our teachers that are teaching about symbolism in their lit classes. Some of these concepts are really difficult for students to grasp. And if you're able to provide them with an example, and using this resource and the For Students series that Discus has purchased for you all, it can be really helpful not only to your teachers, but for your students and their understanding and comprehension of those topics. I know I have 3 kids of my own, and they have all taken honors lit classes and AP lit classes, and that, you know, it was challenging. It really was. Thankfully, they had access to Gale resources, and I had access to Gale resources. Even though I was an English major in college, you forget some of that stuff if you don't use it all the time. So it was really helpful for me to be able to come in here real quick and find information to help them with whatever they were working on. So it helps parents too, not just teachers and faculty and librarians, media specialists, students. It helps their parents. Okay, so one other area in advanced search that I want to share with you, and this is one of my favorites, and that's Topic Finder. And Topic Finder is that visual representation of your search results. Maybe you've used this in your other Gale resources. It does also live here in your Gale eBooks. And we're going to do a search on Edgar Allan Poe, sorry, came out wrong. Now what it does is this is the, again, top hits. It's looking at those kind of like a keyword, similar to a keyword search, but what you're going to find here is it's visual and it's interactive. So that's a lot of the reason why students like it. The tile is the default view, but you also have access to wheel. Some people prefer the wheel. I'm more of a tile person myself. And then the larger the tile, the deeper the color, the more information you have under that subject heading. So fictional character, American writer, American poet. We're actually going to go into Annabelle Lee. And what happens as soon as you click into one of those tiles, actually, let me do another example before we go there. Let's go to American poet. It does zoom in and you can select and drill down even further. So you can see that interactive piece and on the right, every time I make another selection, like collection here, it drills down that content for me very quickly too. To reset, there's a little reset button here at the bottom. I have a Mac, so my mouse too, when you use the scroll option, it will reset it for you. Too, so that just so you know, not just on my mouse, but on any mouse, if you use that scroll option, it just gets tricky on my Mac mouse for some reason. So I like to use the reset button at the bottom. So you have to check that out. Okay, so Annabelle Lee, let's go into the first document here. And I want to talk to you about, look at this explore panel, the more like this. I know we covered this, but here's an overview. Again, great for our middle school students because it's talking about an overview of the poem. You also have Leading You to the Bells, which is another poem of Edgar Allan Poe's. And as I scroll down, you can, and let me decrease this font size, it's quite large. There we go. The biography, you have an image. Here's the actual poem. So you've got such great content in here, but then this is what I love. Poetry is challenging. Remember I said I was an English major. So having the poem summary or the line notes can be extremely helpful for students understanding poetry, understanding specific poems too. So we have all of this available in your collections that Discus has provided for you. There's some media adaptations. So you're going to find all kinds of great content here. Now, let's say I want to share this with my students. I can use this particular document. I can use the get link, which provides a persistent URL back to this spot within the resource. I also can highlight text. So let's say I'm up here, I'm in lines 1 through 3. I highlight it in yellow. Below, I highlight, I should have just done 1 and 2, the same thing in yellow, and I can take some additional notes. Especially if when you're talking about utilizing these collections, maybe you're teaching a mini lesson on annotating, or you're teaching them, they want to pull information into their writing papers and they want to pull in specific quotes or information content directly from their ebook collection. This is a great way to do that, and using the highlights and notes feature can be really helpful for students. Okay, I just added a note. I'm going to click save. I'm going to go to another part. I'm going to go up top here into the biography, and I can choose any color I want. So maybe this is information I want to use. And I can be in multiple documents highlighting content. And this next area I'm going to show you will continuously build out. Now, at this point, my best practice that I always share is if you like this information, you've liked what you've highlighted, you want this document, send it somewhere. Send it to Google, send it to Microsoft, download or print, because what'll happen is not only will it send this article, it'll also send everything you've highlighted and any notes you've taken. Now, the highlight feature is only available in text view. If you have downloaded your document, you can print it off. Here's a downloaded PDF version. So this is when you click download, what you'll receive. You can print this off. So when I say download, you do have that option, and it grabbed all 19 pages that I can then print if I choose to. Okay, so the highlight feature, again, best practice, do something with that information, this document, keep it, you send it to your Google Drive or Microsoft OneDrive, it's there until you choose to delete it. Everything you've highlighted is there. And then below that citation that I shared with you before, at the bottom of the page, you'll have the text you've highlighted. So this section of blue will live below my citation and any notes I've taken. So I have it all in one document. I also have highlights and notes, which is being built out because I'm in this session. Now, this is also session based. Let me click into it and share it with you. And I know we're right towards the end of our time, so I'm going to wrap up here. This is the last thing I'm showing you. Highlights and notes is, I like to call them digital notes, and they're exactly that. Now, if I were highlighting in the Maya Angelou poem, or I went into that supernatural, I found some documents and I was highlighting, this would have continuously built out because I'm in this singular session. If I leave this session, all of this information will be gone. So I want to make sure if I do want these digital notes that I come in here and send them, download, print before I leave. And that's what this warning is. I also have the ability to edit my notes or add notes. And you might want to do that before you send it, download, or print. You also have the option to label. So you can create a legend for your document. And again, you send just this into your Google Drive or Microsoft OneDrive, you have that legend, you have the text that you've highlighted, the notes you've taken, the bibliography is attached. Not only that, but the articles that you were in are hyperlinked out from your Google Drive or Microsoft OneDrive. You can be in that document, click on it, and it'll open up that page where you can review that original document. It won't have your highlights on it, but you can at least be taken back to those 19 pages of Annabelle Lee very quickly if you want to do some additional reading, or maybe that Explore panel, you're like, oh yeah, I love this document. I need some more information like this. I know that Explore panel exists. This is a route that your students can take. Okay, let me know if there are any questions. I know I gave you a lot of information in this session, and I'm so thrilled that we had the extra 15 minutes. As you can see, I took it and also was able to move at a little bit slower pace. You have great support documents available on the support site. So it's support.gale.com. We have a site that we designed specifically for Discus. So if you'd like to access that, upcoming webinars will be posted there. We actually have one coming up on August 24th at 2 o'clock that will be posted there soon. And it is for secondary. It's secondary resources that you have from Discus that are your Gale resources that we're going to cover on that day. You also have not just the training materials, there's also video tutorials are 2 to 3 minutes long each. You also have printable tools, posters, resource guides, tip sheets, lesson plans. They're all there for you. And then if you're, oh, I went one too fast. If you're looking for web banners, social media posts, email templates, we have that there for you too under the marketing materials. Looking for help, your first line, line of defense, right? Or your first line of assistance is your Discus office help desk. So be sure to reach out to them directly. They're there to support you with all of your Discus resources, including your Gale resources. And then finally, my slide here, I'm Tammi VanBuren. I'm your Gale trainer, and I'm thrilled to have the opportunity to train you all today. Let me know if there's any questions. Because I had mentioned learning management systems and folks that can help you with that. Go to your Discus help desk first, and then they can direct you to your customer success managers at Gale. But just to let you know, that's the team that they're going to connect you with, or your tech people with, if you want to get any of your Gale resources, including your Gale eBooks, set up in your learning management system. And that wraps the session. Linda, did you need me to share anything else or stop sharing?
Thank you very much for your presentation and all of this wealth of information. I think this provides a great sneak peek for everyone as we prepare to work to get all of our links straightened out and to market these Gale for Students series. Did anyone have a question there? I didn't see a question in chat. Again, Tammi
Hopefully they were all in awe of the new resource, right? Just taking it all in. Yeah, for follow-up though, I think you were just about to say that for follow-up, you have any individual questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to help in any way.
Excellent. I'm going to stop the recording.